So, Cornelius, this will be a series of interviews between you and I, and basically the point is to try to document your life and your journey. And I think it's something that in the future, that I think our family and other family members will benefit from your story and your journey. So I'm going to begin this by asking you to tell us about your upbringing in New Orleans, from the time you can remember as a child, your early life in school, and we'll stop it at that point.
Okay, from the beginning, I was able to go to John Weldon Johnson School in grade school. Left there, and I went to St. Joan of Arc, in grade school. Graduated from there, went to Booker T. Washington High, and only went to the 10th grade. Left New Orleans and went to the Air Force in 1955.
So I'm going to ask you a question. What made you go to St. Joan of Arc? What happened? What was that decision about?
Well, the reason why I went to St. Joan of Arc is because I had a godmother,
Okay.
and she thought, you understand, that the education, you understand, was better at St. John of Arc than it was at the grade school, which I thought about it at this time. That was a misnomer, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Because I come to find out that my basic education, that's where I learned most of my stuff was from at John Weldon Johnson, because the teachers were really thoughtful, and the thing about it, they cared about you.
I see. And who was your godmother?
Her name was Dale Harris.
I see. And how was she associated with the family? Was she your mother's
She was,
friend, or your
was
father?
was my mom friend,
Uh-huh.
and we went to different churches, but they was real close friends, and then she took me became my godmother, and from that time, she helped pay the tuition, which was really reasonable at that time,
I see.
and my mom and dad couldn't afford it, but she paid it.
Mm. So what grade did you get to Catholic school? What grade was you when you got to St. Joan of Arc?
Oh, well, I was in 19, let me see what it was, in 1950, 50 something, 1953, 52, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how long did you attend there?
Yeah, I to the 8th grade.
To the 8th grade.
Yeah.
So you started at what grade?
I started at the seventh grade,
Oh, seventh.
8th grade.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
no, those 6th or 7th grade.
All right. Do you have any memories about the school in particular?
Well, a lot of memories, because I come to find out, like, the mother of the convent, which was Sister Mary Louisette,
Okay.
took me under her wings, because I was a non-Catholic at that particular time, and
Okay.
I still is.
Right.
And what she did, she just brought me right along with the Catholics, you know what I mean? And she and I became real close friends,
Mm-hmm.
And up until she died, just in the last couple of years, we stayed in contact all that time.
Mm.
All that time. And she believed in me, and consequently, she taught me a lot of things like sewing and knitting and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? And stuff which you use today, but you don't use it as much as you use it now, because, people do everything fast, and they want it quick, you know what I mean? So consequently, you ain't gonna knit, and you ain't gonna sew, you ain't gonna do this here. You would take it somewhere and let somebody else do it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But she was really a real true friend, and the thing about it is, she and I was very close,
So was the school integrated, or was it just all?
No, it was
black?
all black.
It was all black. I
Yeah,
see.
and it was the name of the convent was a Holy Family convent.
I see. So it was mostly run by nuns?
Yeah, nuns, yeah,
I
and
see.
priests, yeah.
And priests, I
Yeah.
see. So did you have to make confirmation or anything like that? Or?
No, because by me being a non-Catholic,
I see. They didn't impose
yeah, I
on
was
you.
Baptist at that particular time.
I see.
Yeah.
So from there you went to what school when you
I
left?
went to Booker T.
I see. And tell me about your experience at Booker T.
Booker T was a little different because, you come to find out, you understand, the city itself was separated into a lot of wards,
Okay.
and consequently, I came from 17 ward, so my nearest high school was Booker T. Washington, Walter Cohen at that time.
I see.
So what I did, I got there at the ninth grade, went and stayed out the whole night. Then I stayed to the 10th grade, and then I left.
I see.
And the
why
reason,
didn't you finish?
beg pardon?
Why didn't you finish?
I didn't finish mainly because I thought I was grown and getting up, and then consequently, me and my dad, we wasn't getting along like we should have gotten along and stuff, because he tell me right, but I'm thinking I'm right, you know what I mean?
see.
And consequently, I said I was going to join the service, and I did.
And how old were you then?
I had to be at least about 17.
About 17?
Yeah.
I see. So did you work any time in New Orleans at that point? Did you have any odd jobs, or did you do any work?
Well, I worked at Cudahy Packing Company with my dad.
Okay.
And that was during the summer months, and
what was your job? What did you have to do for that?
Unloading trucks and boxcars and stuff like that, because when the turkey time would come, they would unload, they had carloads of turkeys and stuff, and then they would distribute them to different markets and stuff like that, So my thing was to get them off the truck and get them into the warehouse at Cudahy on Padre Street.
Was that your first job?
No, my first job was I was pumping a bicycle.
Okay.
And I used to deliver groceries, you understand, to the neighborhood.
How old were you then?
Oh, I had to be like maybe 13.
I see.
Yeah.
So you delivered the groceries from what store was you working for?
I was working for Latusa food store.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where were they located?
And they was located on Fern and Coin, right down the corner. And he was a good guy, Italian guy.
How did you find the job?
Well, I knew some other guys who had the job before me, and then they left, or either they went to a prison or they went somewhere else and carried on, and consequently he needed somebody to take and deliver, and I went there and I stayed with him for quite a while.
I see. So your job was to do what?
All my job was to stock the shelves, fill orders, and deliver.
I see. So it was like a delivery service. You would deliver groceries to people's home? Or?
Yeah, because see, the neighborhood was self-supporting. It was self-supporting.
I see.
And what happens in every neighborhood, when you went to New Orleans, you found you had a drugstore there, you had a grocery store, you and you had meat market. So you had everything that you needed in that same geographical area. So consequently, you would be able to take and survive. And the reason why you survived was because the guy who owned the store carried you, from payday to payday, because he had a little small book that every time when you bought something, you just put it in the book, and then at the end of the week, you paid him.
I see. So where did you live at this time?
I lived at 1714 and a half Leander Street.
Also, you lived on Leander Street.
Right.
And that's the area that they call the Row?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about that area when you think back on it?
If you could just hold this for a minute, I could take and I could show you some pictures.
Okay, we'll get them and I'll take them.
Yeah, I can show you some pictures because it'll show you like the conditions and how really poor it was. But we was poor, but being young as we wasn't living with our parents, we didn't even know we was poor. You know what I mean? But things were really bad at that particular time.
Yeah. So you didn't see it like that?
No.
That wasn't your perception of it?
No, because I was a kid, You
was a kid.
Right.
And you was taken care of. You didn't feel like you were wanting for anything?
No.
I see. So in the family, who all lived in that area?
In the family, well, at that time, her name that was Curtis, that was your mother,
Okay.
She lived in there with her husband, Clifford.
Okay.
And then I had my mom, my dad, my sister, and then there was 6 of us in the house, in a 2.5 bedroom house.
Okay.
And then it was Mr. Albert and
how was the sleeping arrangement in the house?
Well, believe it or not, it was a regular bed, and like four to five of us slept in one bed.
Okay.
You know, and it was tough because some wet the bed and some didn't. You know what I mean? So consequently, when that happened, we would put it on the next person. You know, because my other sister who was next to me, I was next to her. You know, she wet the bed all the time, Mabel.
Okay.
Mabel wet the bed all the time, and so we would always put it on Mabel. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the next morning, my mom would come there and carry on with the strap and say, "Well, somebody gonna get it, so better tell me the truth."
Okay.
And consequently, you know, everybody get to point at Mabel. You know.
I see. So it always fell on Mabel.
Yeah.
I see. So it was 2 boys.
2 boys.
And
yeah.
3 girls.
Yeah. No, it was Florence, Martha, and Evelyn was married. Florence, Martha, Mabel. And that was it. Yeah, because one had died. We had a sister name was Catherine, and she died early, way before I knew about it. You know.
Oh, you didn't know her?
No.
I see. So that was some of your memories about the house. Living in the house.
Yeah.
So the house, did it have running water?
Yeah, it had running water, and my dad was so creative and carrying on, because what he did, he had the guy in the neighborhood to put electricity in the house.
Okay.
But it wasn't hidden behind the panels or anything. It was exposed, you know. It was just a wire come all the way thing with a pull string like this one here.
Okay.
And you know, but we had electricity.
I see.
We had a telephone, and we had a 12-inch TV.
Okay.
And my dad was so creative and carrying on. One day he said, "You know what?" He said, "I think we can have color TV." And I didn't know what he was talking about. So consequently, what he did.
Around what time would you say this was? What year would you say this was?
I would say, you know, this was like in the 50s, you know.
Okay, early 50s.
Yeah, early 50s.
Right.
And then so he says, "I know what to do." So he went to the store and he found a piece of colored paper, and it was 4 different colors. It was like red, green, yellow, like this here. Okay. And he put it on the TV. Okay. And then, you know, people was all different colors, but we had color TV, you know. Okay. That's how creative he was, you know.
So he invented color television. Okay.
Indirectly he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. And, you know, but it was something, man, that to watch him do certain things and stuff. And then when the TV itself wouldn't function, there was an old-time TV where they used to take the tubes out, and then you would go to the market, you know, it's like the KB and different those, because they had the machines there, and you would test the bulbs. Okay. And then my dad would have a bag full of bulbs, and he'd test them all, and then he'd say, "Oh yeah, that's the bad one here," and come back and bigger than jive, you know, that's what happened, you understand? He put it back in, then the TV stopped working again, you know. Okay. But he was quite a guy.
And where did he work at this time?
Cudahy Packing Company.
I see, that's where he worked.
Yeah.
And what did your mother do at that time?
My mom was really a maid. Okay. She worked for Miss Span, L. Span.
I see. And what did that family do for a living?
Yeah, believe it or not, the lady, she was a midwife.
I see.
Yeah, and my dad, before he went to Cudahy, he was the chauffeur there.
I see, for that family.
Yeah, for that family.
And where did they live?
They lived on Maple Street, just then, right in the 17th ward.
Okay, I see. So it was your brothers and sisters, you guys all lived in that house. And who else lived in that row besides, so it was you? Yeah. Your family, my mother.
Yeah, well, it was quite a family. It was the Hesters living there, and then Miss Eloise. It was who else? It was Mildred. It was Ethel Woodson.
Right.
It was Miss Pauline. It was Miss Fifi. Mm-hmm. You know, so it was quite a few families living there. You know.
I see. And everybody got along.
Oh yeah, got fun. And you know, Miss Eloise was she lived she had a daughter named Gunny, and then she had another son, I forget his name, but he had come to California, and she had a daughter, and when the strays would come in the neighborhood with a room in the kitchen, she used to take them all in.
Okay.
Quite a lady, had a big heart.
Yeah. She
Big
would
heart.
take the people who didn't have much.
Yeah.
I see.
You know.
So the other question I wanted to ask you about the road. So who owned that property?
It's a lady by the name of Miss Pick.
Okay.
Yeah, and she used to collect the rent and everything, and that's who you had to pay,
I see, Miss Pick.
Yeah.
I see. So, is that where you were born in that area, or were you born somewhere else?
I was born on Butte Street, Butte, right up by St. Joan of Arc up there.
Yeah.
Okay, right by the tracks up there,
Okay.
That's where I can remember. Right there on Butte.
So when you came over to Leander Street, how old were you?
No, I didn't come to Leander Street. See, I went to Leander Street first, and then we left there and we went on Broadway.
Oh, okay.
We lived in Greytown then.
Oh, you lived in Gertown.
Yeah.
And how long did you stay there?
Oh, we stayed there for quite a few years.
I see.
Yeah. Parents never owned the house, and it was always his desire to own his own property.
Right.
But it never did work out,
And where was your father's people from?
Most of my people, as far as I know, was from here in New Orleans.
Okay.
And then my mom peoples was from like Texas, Austin, Texas, and Kilgore.
Right.
Those places,
I see. And what relatives do you remember on your father's side, like your uncles and your aunts and your grandparents? Who do you remember?
Well, I had several kinfolks. I had my uncle, which was named Charlie Wilson.
Okay.
Then I had my sister, my Aunt Thea, and then
they were married.
Hmm?
Were they married? Your aunties?
Yeah.
I see.
But and then my other aunt, she was married to what is that again? I don't want to say Melvin, but I can't forget his name there. But it was quite a few of them,
They had children?
Yeah, my aunt, my Uncle Charlie, he had two sons. He had Howard and Charlie Wilson Jr.
I see. Are any of them alive?
Yeah, well, the one is alive. Charlie is still is alive.
I see.
But Howard, he's dead. And
did they have children?
Charlie had one daughter.
I see. She's alive?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's your dad's side. They were from basically. And did they live far from you guys, in proximity to you guys?
Most of them lived out in the country, like in Vacherie,
okay,
and little small towns like that.
So that's where they originally was from.
Yeah, the grandmother lived out there, and that's where they used to spend most of their time right out there.
I see. Did you guys go out there to visit your grandparents?
No, they would come. They would always come to the city for some reason.
I see. You guys wouldn't go out there.
Mm-hmm.
I see. That was your grandfather's people. I see. Okay, we're going to conclude it on that note, and then we're going to pick it up
the
next time. Thank you.